We have a major update on trade target Paul George for the New York Knicks, and we have to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because Shams recently spoke out on Paul George's free agency and how there are a few different suitors for him, most notably the New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the 76ers were the team that was widely projected to get George if he were to leave the Los Angeles Clippers, but also the New York Knicks were hanging around there also as another option. And now it appears like we have an update on that, as Shams said that people around the league believe Paul George will remain in Los Angeles on the Clippers. And I'm not that surprised, if I'm being honest. I felt like it was always the number one thing is that Paul George would probably stay in LA since that's his home, and LA has to pay him. The Clippers are such a wreck as it is because they got Kawhi locked up forever. They're in cap hell regardless of what Paul George does, so they might as well just bring PG back to the team and hope it finally works. Hope Kawhi finally gets healthy, and that they can capitalize off of this unit and maybe still win an NBA championship. The NBA is fairly open right now. There's not one team that's far better than all the other ones. The Los Angeles Clippers have the talent to go to the NBA Finals and win. It's just the injuries. Now, I do think Paul George can still be the second best player on a championship team, especially when that team also has guys like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and obviously Kawhi Leonard. Now, we know there's more than that. They have the whole bench unit. Terrence Mann's been solid, but he could get traded. Amir Coffey's a good three-point shooter. Norman Powell's a great role player. They have a team. Zubac had his best year at the 5. They need a backup center desperately because, they lost Hartenstein. But even though he wanted to go back with them, they completely just absolutely failed there. Because I was going to say something that I shouldn't say on camera. But no, in reality, what happened is the Los Angeles Clippers went all in, and so far, it's been a big swing and a miss, considering they traded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to do so, and Shai's a top 5 NBA player now, so yikes. Now, Paul George is from LA. He wanted to go to the Lakers, and then LeBron went there, and he didn't really want to follow LeBron, so he went to the Clippers, made up that whole lie about he was always a Clippers fan. No one believed him. But the Clippers are getting a new arena. Things are changing around there, and I think Paul George wants to be a part of that change where the Clippers kind of move away from being the other LA team. They're always going to be. They're never going to overtake the Lakers. They could win 10 straight NBA Finals. It's still Laker City, always will be. But at the same time, it would help them to, not play in the Lakers arena in Staples Center. And I know it's not called that anymore, but Crypto.com sounds stupid. But as Fred Katz mentioned, the Knicks consider this offseason as a time to trade for a big name, and Katz said that it's not clear who the star will be, and even the Knicks don't know. But he did mention that Karl-Anthony Towns, Paul George, and Donovan Mitchell were hypothetical options, and said that the Knicks could pounce if the Miami Heat or Phoenix Suns decide to make a major pivot. And the only reason I'm not going into that is because literally the next video that comes out after this one is about that. So we're going to do a full deep dive on that, so you're going to want to stay tuned. I'm telling you, man. We're going crazy. It's just day 3 of the offseason. This is our second video of the day. We're doing another one right after, so make sure you're subscribed on a separate note. But guys, this means the New York Knicks were looking at Paul George. They looked at Paul George last year. We did a video on this a few days ago, kind of breaking down the whole Paul George situation. But now with the update, I think it's important to know that if Paul George doesn't go to the Knicks, it's probably more going to be because of Paul George than the New York Knicks. Now, obviously, there's something that comes into play here. I don't think the Knicks would go for Paul George unless they know they could pair him with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I don't think they just want to trade for Paul George and pair him next to Brunson. They want to pair him with Brunson and Randle. They think he'd be a good fit. They talked about trading RJ for him last year. I'm kind of happy they didn't because OG's younger and all that, and I love the way that OG fits with this team. And the Knicks still have the assets to trade for Paul George. Theoretically, you could offer Bojan Bogdanovic, Mitchell Robinson, that Obi Toppin trade exception for $6 million. And that's Mitch's 16 plus Bojan's. That's 42. Paul George makes 41 million. So yeah, that would work. And then the Knicks throw like one top 3 protected first rounder and I don't know, another higher protected, maybe like a top 10 protected first rounder, or maybe the Bucks pick, or either the Pistons or Wizards pick that keeps deferring. they got some options. The Knicks do have some options here, and Paul George's value is not that high. If he decides that he says, hey, I want to go to the New York Knicks, then there's not going to be an equal value in a sign and trade. Sign and trades don't have equal value. Look at what happened with Kevin Durant when he signed and traded to go to the Nets. In return, the Warriors got a 2024 first rounder that was top 3 protected, and D'Angelo Russell, who's terrible. So that wasn't fair. I'm sorry, D'Lo. But you know, he's the worst defender in the NBA. But really, what we're looking at is a situation where the Knicks have had interest in Paul George. They think he'd be a good fit, and I completely agree. I think Paul George would be a great fit, but there's the problem of the price. I don't think anyone in their right mind should want to trade Julius Randle for Paul George, considering Paul George is 34 years old. He's going on his age 35 season. He's had a litany of injuries. His playoffs experience has not been too kind to him, and I understand that Julius Randle is dubbed as a terrible playoff performer. But I think it's kind of uneducated to say that he's just always going to be terrible in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, he had 2 playoff appearances ever. One of them, he was on a mangled ankle that needed surgery. And the other one, he played horribly because Nate McMillan coached the hell out of that series. The Knicks had one scoring option in Randle. They had no one else to go to. Randle was probably tired due to the insane workload that he had to have in order for the Knicks to even be a 4th seed that year. So I really do think that a lot of this came down to, like, just misfortune in Julius's favor and then carrying a team and being tired and then the Hawks just game planning it correctly. I think that's why Randle has not had the greatest playoff history ever, but Paul George has a long history of not being that good in the playoffs. So I don't think the Knicks should be running to trade a 30-year-old coming off what was the best season of his NBA career before the injury for Paul George, who's 34. Maybe if Paul George were 28, then my mind would be different. I mean, I'd love to have that Thunder version of Paul George came in 3rd in MVP voting. That'd be awesome, but that's not who he is anymore. He's now putting up less points and all that, but he is still a solid player. Now, Paul George spoke out on this and basically said, I'm not focused on that yet. I got a lot to kind of digest myself, so I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm looking forward to kind of getting back, letting everything decompress, talk to my family, and being around my family support, and then address the next step. I'm just not there yet. Which is kind of just his breakdown on free agency in general, and that's fair. I mean, when Brunson was asked about that contract extension, he said, I'll talk about that later. It's tough because Paul George was asked that, obviously, right after they got eliminated. He's like, dude, I just finished a 9-month NBA season. I've been doing this for a long time. Now I'm hitting free agency and all this stuff. I just can't think about that right now. I just got eliminated. I'm an ultra competitor, and I'm bummed out that I just lost again in the first round. Like, that's probably why he's not going to want to talk about that, which is very fair. So we'll see more from Paul George in the future, but this could very well be the last Paul George video I make on this channel for a little bit, because let's be real, he's not coming to the Knicks. As much as it'd be cool to get him on a bargain trade, it just feels painfully unlikely. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on all this. As I said, leave a comment down below. What do you guys want to see in the offseason? I'm down to make any kind of content. I'm going to start doing live streams. I want to say either next week or the week after. Definitely by June, we're going to have a live stream schedule going up. I think it's going to be every Thursday for sure, and probably every Monday also. We're trying to build this Knicks Digest community up more. I want to engage with you guys as much as humanly possible. Dario will probably be on the lives also, so you'll get just the both of us talking. We'll have you guys throw your inputs in there. We'll respond to comments. It'll be a blast, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed to Knicks Digest, guys. Have a great day, and go Knicks.